Excuse me. Excuse me, Salaki. It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 1. And it reads, the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, power. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a power. I sit in the midst of the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas, meaning in the midst of the people, yet thou art a man and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart or mind as the heart of the Most High. Verse 3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. Scriptures talk about the children of this world are wiser than the children of light, which the children of light represent so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, God's true chosen people, the Israelites. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. You know, this man basically possesses the substance or the substance of the earth. You know, this man is in every nation. You know, he has embassies all over the earth. He's playing a bully right now throughout the earth. You know, so you got to recognize that this man has power. You know, although it was given to him from the Most High. You know, we understand that Isaac basically blessed Esau with the blessing of the sword. You know, and that's why this man has one of the most devastating military forces on the planet. They call it the hammer of the earth. It says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thine riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. You know, because of his riches, because of his might. You know, the scriptures talk about he's a proud man. You know, neither keepeth at home. Habakkuk chapter 2. You know, I believe Obadiah talks about his pride as well. But the scriptures also tell you that the Most High God is 6 things that the Most High hate, 7 be an abomination unto him. And the first thing is a proud look. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. I will now bring against you a foreign army, the terror of the nations. They will draw their swords against your marvelous wisdom and defile your splendor. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Call Loyam La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, thought they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be. Ba'ashem, Ba'as in, Ha'az Hashem, his name. Yahushai meaning he saves, or he deliverer. True names of the Most High God and the Son, whose people ignorantly call God Jesus Christ, but whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by, I was listening to the elder out of Dallas, and he was doing a lesson about the 6G. A few brothers went into the lesson. Basically, it's a hot topic right now. It seems to keep on coming up lately. I noticed because it's an indication of how near we are. Basically, it caught my attention because of the fact, I listened to the lesson. I said, you know what? I said, you know what? Let me go in on it because the elder was going into he was reading the articles because this is listed on the White House because America got to try to control everything. They got to be the best or the first at everything. Want to try to control every fucking thing. You know, got a possessive ass woman trying to control who you looking at. You know, that's one of the reasons that don't matter. Anyhow, but you got yeah, you got some funny women on here. But anyhow, so I was just thinking, and I saw the video maybe 2-3 days ago, but I was thinking about it. I already had like through the spirit decided I was going to try to do a lesson on it, but because he was just reading the paragraphs because it was a memoranda on the White House Gov's website, and he got to talking about certain things that this technology would be capable of, and it made me want to do a research on it. Now the thing is, a lot of individuals will say that Esau don't got power, how frail, how feeble he is. But I also heard a brother say, Esau might be a fag, but he's not a punk. You know what I mean? If you could understand, what that means, he might, Alexander the Great was a fag, but he wasn't a punk. He had military and military prowess, and he was a warrior. He was a homosexual warrior. What's that wrestler that was a homosexual? I can't think of which one it was. Well, I got a terrible memory, or maybe I'm making it up. Maybe it's a movie or something. I don't know. I know they had that movie, the Zorro the Gay Blade. Zorro. Remember, if anybody can remember Zorro, the man, he was Northern Kingdom, dressed up in black. I think they had an Edomite playing him when I was coming up. But I did like the one with Antonio Banderas. But anyhow, it shows you the type of power this man got. This man literally, like I remember, it was me and a brother. We were, it was around that 2020, the CV19, and we was at a grocery store, and I was looking at it. And everybody's 6 feet apart. And that's when it hit me, like 6 feet apart. So everybody's 6 feet, 6 feet. This man of sin, or the son of perdition, always with that number and always making it known. If you got the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So I'm looking at them like everybody's 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart. And me and the brother just looked at each other. And then I was like, damn, that's when it hit me. I'm like, this man got a lot of power. Because he changed the world and was able to, like, do you know how powerful you got to be to actually actually stop the world? He stopped the world. Think about that. So you a fucking fool to think that he don't got no power, but it also tells you that the Lord is going to come and snatch away his power. The Lord is going to come to fight for us. And he's going to gift certain men with spiritual power to rise up and smite this devil. But, again, it did catch my attention, you know what I mean? Because, again, when you pay attention to what he's doing, which is all left-hand sorcery and whatnot, you know what I mean? None of this is really new. I listened to this one esoteric dude, he go into a lot of esoteric breakdowns and whatnot, and he was going into, like, the AI and, all this different shit, you know what I mean? Like with the whole CBDC, like that all go back to, Babylonian money magic. So anyway, it says 6G would enable, because I did a search, what will 6G allow technology to do? It says 6G would enable a hyper-connected world with blazing speeds, near zero latency, and integrated AI, powering truly immersive mixed reality, XR. XR. Massive digital twins, autonomous systems. So basically, you're going to have autonomous vehicles, cars, factories, drones. They talking about whole factories. They ain't going to need human beings to do shit in the factory. And then you got people. I say the one brother, he uploaded that video with it was a lot of Keishas on there just bawling their eyes out. I respected the one Keisha that was listening. She was like, it's my birthday, shit. She was like, shit, yo, I'm too grown. Yo. I was like, damn. Then they fired her. She ain't really, she's like, yeah, okay, I'll drop this shit off. Everybody else was up there crying, you know what I mean? I hope she keep that same energy when she try to find another job, because this shit ain't sweet out here, you know what I'm saying? Unless the Lord, like with you, you might, yeah. Holographic communication and seamless human digital interaction, moving beyond just faster phones to merging physical and cyber realities in real time. It says key capabilities and use cases. Immersive experience, ultra low latency and high bandwidth will make truly immersive XR holographic calls and advanced AR VR commonplace. So Total Recall, where they was making a phone call and you have a hologram and you talking to the motherfucker. Autonomous everything enables fully self-driving vehicles, smart factories with self-adjusting production lines, and coordinated drone systems. So think, I got a book on this shit though, for real. Like it's called Army of One. I don't even know why I got the book. I forgot. That was when I think I was in the camp, but I was still homeless. Never read the book, but the book go into I got a book on DARPA, and that's what I found out about the Davy Crockett, the pocket nuke. These motherfuckers got a pocket nuke, and that's why Obama had said at that time he was he more concerned about a ICBM going off in Manhattan. But who's to say, if they got this type of technology, and you got these clandestine, departments of, the government that, do black ops and shit like that. Is that all conspiracy? When, you've had whistleblowers come out and say this shit. It says massive digital twins, real-time detailed virtual replicas of physical systems, cities, factories, even human bodies for monitoring, simulation, and control. They let you know we go control. Integrated sensing and communications. Networks will sense the environment, allowing for accurate positioning and advanced wireless sensing. And the elder was pretty much sensing your thoughts. Now, to mind you, they gonna have technology where you're gonna be able to send the thought. Instead of using a phone, you'll use a brain BCI, brain computer interface. So you'll pretty much have your device, and whoever the fuck you fucking with have the device, and then y'all just send your thoughts to one another. So if they got technology where you'll be able to just send your thoughts to whoever you're trying to talk to, why couldn't they basically intercept the thought? So that will be reading your mind, right? AI native networks. AI will be built in for self-healing. It said artificial intelligence will be built in for self-healing, autonomous resource management, and optimizing network performance. You know what? When I read that, what I thought of? I thought of Upgrade with the STEM. What was his name? Seth. I just watched a snippet of that too. Ubiquitous connectivity, seamless coverage from ground to air to satellite, creating a truly connected ecosystem for billions of devices. And that's when you get your smart cities and Internet of Things. Powers truly intelligent cities with enhanced security, energy management, and efficient infrastructure. Make you think of Minority Report, when Tom Cruise pretty much was on the run and he went into the I think he had got his eyes basically they was able to do a surgery that they could give you somebody else's eyes. So whenever you walked into a store or around their surveillance systems, it'll scan your eyes. Man, the cold part is they literally been showing you this shit for decades in your face, and they're literally bringing it, like left hand sorcery, like they left hand prophets. These motherfuckers a bunch of demons, man. For real, man. So yeah, that's a lot. And just imagine that, it make you think of what Elon Musk said. He want everybody to have their own personal robot. Follow your ass around, actually monitor your ass, not helping you for real. Shit, listen. As many spirits and demons in this world, that AI or that robot to have some. So yeah, that's power within itself. And the thing is, he's gonna be allowed to bring this system into fruition to a degree. So that's power. This is the book of and that's why this devil is so proud. I was just thinking about it because, the scriptures talk about knowledge puffeth up. That's why we got to actually be humble, because the Lord gave us this knowledge of this truth. And I've seen Jake personally, even probably myself, speaking about myself first and foremost, knowledge can puff up, but just imagine how much this devil's puffed up, because you can see it. Even right now with this place going down, it was a brother did a video, and I think the same guy that he did the video with was in a video I did off of I think that the Epic Economist or somebody, where the guy talks, I don't know who this guy is, but he talked real big shit, and he was going into, I guess he'd be reporting news, he was going into how, Iran pretty much declared war against Babylon the Great, and he was like, pretty much they gonna get their ass kicked in Babylon, yada, yada, yada. He was talking about like, Iran ain't gonna be able to do shit, and Babylon gonna kick their ass, and all this different shit, and the brother was like, yeah, Esau proud, because he's still proud. And that's what the scriptures talk about, as the ruler of the city is, so is the people. And that's why you got these 2/3 niggas and everybody, just everybody proud. I was at work today and I was talking to this Jake, and you could tell he like a worldly Jakey in the world, but he ain't like no slouch. I like that about him, a young dude. I don't know what all he doing, but you could tell he got a business mindset. He talking about, buying some cars and renting them out. I was like, yeah, he used to probably get some money. He driving a nice little car. Yeah, 2024. So, that don't really mean nothing. I'm content with my paid off car. He's got to pay a note. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as my car's starting up, I don't give a fuck about what people think. I got $1,000 in my pocket and look like Tupac said, dressing down like a mummy, but only in disguise. You know what I mean? Like, the fuck? Like, motherfuckers go by appearance. You know what I mean? Like, Ben knew that one, but anyhow, respect is of persons. But we was talking, and he was talking about he wasn't gonna stay at this job that long, but it ain't that many jobs. That's why he had to get a job through somebody. And I was like, pretty much, I just, the Spirit jumped on me to tell him certain things, and I'm like, don't quit this job, before you got another job. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, something about to happen soon, and I talked to him about the China situation, and I was like, in America was on a decline, this bitch going down, and he was like, yeah, I know. So if I can't say he's the 2/3, but he's never did nothing disrespectful to me. But you could just tell somebody that ain't into the truth. Like, that's why I never broke it down to him. You know what I mean? And I work around like a lot of Jakes, but then I work with an Edomite. So like the people that run the shit is Esau. You know what I mean? It's a Jake that's like running as the foreman, but like the motherfuckers that own the equipment and shit, these Esau. But the point being, it's just, I found it funny. And like I said again, the last time I went proclaiming that everybody, who Israel and who ain't Israel or whatnot, motherfucking Jake toked on me. I mean, even though I ain't lose a job, he just made it hard at that job. So now you learn discretion and whatnot. You got a little bit more seasoning, so you don't do the same errors and mistakes. Because it's too much at the end. Like I said again, there was a lot of shit going on based on that. And when you live, you're supposed to learn, so you don't keep doing the same foolish things. But yeah, I mean, if this individual that's not in the truth could see, what's wrong with people that call themselves in the truth? That's supposed to be scholars and on the level and all that. I don't know. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 1. Now it's touching things offered unto idols. That's spiritual, because this AI is an idol. This devil, this system he creating is a big ass idol. That micro C-hip is an idol. We know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. But love buildeth. Let's see what the word edify goes for. Because charity means love.
Strong's G 3618. Oikadameo.
Love. Basically, to build a house, erect a building, to build up from the foundation, to restore by building, to rebuild, repair. And once scriptures talk about at one point we knew this, so to restore. Because we being restored with the knowledge, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of our heritage. What knowledge do Esau have? He got knowledge of the left-hand side, but what does the scripture say? The scriptures talk about knowledge of wickedness is not true wisdom. This is Isaiah chapter, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 19 and verse. We'll start at verse 18. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtained of his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, is the doctrine of life, and they that can do the Salaki, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. Shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and all wisdom is the performance of law. Salaki, performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotent, omnipotency. I think it's omnipotency. Because the Most High God is all powerful, all knowing. There's none above him. If a servant say to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, though afterward he do it, he angereth him that nourisheth him. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. There is a wickedness and the same an abomination, and there's a fool wanting in wisdom. Verse 24, the point. He that hath small understanding and feareth the Most High is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. So, us would just, the scriptures talk about wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy time, strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And Esau Edom doesn't have any fear of the Lord because what's that? The scriptures talk about how this is book of Psalms chapter 53 and verse 1. Because the devil, he trying to like what made me think of Noah Huvel Harari. What he say? He say, pretty much he say it ain't no God. Showing you how foolish these people is, but this is one of the pioneers of or the left hand priesthood trying to bring forth this system that's going, this AI, beast system. Psalm 53 and verse 1. The fool have said in his heart, there is no power, corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. Going into Esau Edom, which is the fool ultimately because it is the Most High. And the Most High is the one that put the spirit on them to actually bring forth this system. But it all basically is it's a trap, it's a snare. Ultimately, that's what power is. You know what I mean? The scriptures talk about, well, that's not in the scriptures, that's a quote. But I won't be surprised if it don't go back to the scriptures in some kind of way. What I've come to learn is a lot of sayings and a lot of, things that has a foundation on why or on wisdom here in this world is based off of something in the scriptures. What's that? So, we, the hopeful elect that do the will and the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 1 and verse Proverbs 1 and verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And again, going back to Esau Edom, because the true wisdom is this truth. Again, what I think that Psalms 124 talks about we have escaped from the fowler. When you go into the fowler, pretty much a fowler is like a bird catcher. Scriptures talk about in the book of I think it's Ecclesiasticus. I think it's one in Proverbs too. Bear with me for a second. I think one of the Proverbs, because it talks about he that diggeth a pit shall fall therein. Proverbs. I mean to do this, Salakia. Book of Proverbs chapter 26. In verse 27, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. So one that's setting up the traps and snares, ultimately, and that's what the Lord has done. He set up, he put it on this man's spirit to create a system that's actually going to lead to his demise. Because basically, when he brings this thing to fruition, it's going to solidify his fate. You're going to know who the devil is, you know. That's why, he's not going to, pretty much enslave humanity the way he believes he does, or the way he believes he will. But he will, like, get it off the ground to a degree as a great testing to the world. To show the world who the elect are, and to show the world who the elect are not. And, and pretty much, as the great testing. It says, verse 28, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. The book of Job, chapter 5, and verse 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And, devices goes into plans or plots, And it says their enterprise, which ultimately is this MOTB system, this B system, where they're going to track, trace, monitor, basically control, your money. Because again, you'll have money, but if they say that you've had too much of this month, what can you do? You're gonna have a chip where you may be not in the area they want you to be in, so your chip won't work. So now you got to get back to your area in order to use it. Man, this is some crazy shit. Because that's how you know like it's a huge enchantment on the planet too. Because people should be really just livid, just like stark raving upset. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's like if a person came into your house and tried to start dictating to you what the fuck you can and cannot do. That would really piss you off. But this man talking about putting something in your body and he gonna control you with it. Like the puppet master for real, huh? Verse 13. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. So he gonna take these devils, in the same, based on what these devils trying to bring to fruition, is going, again, I read it in Proverbs chapter 26. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it. You know what I mean? This system gonna fall upon some of the people that's pushing it with them. Ultimately, the only ones that's gonna be above the system in their minds is the elite. These presidents. I was watching the video that the elder did because I told you this. That's what inspired me to do the lesson. And he was just looking at DJ Trump. He was like, "See, he threw. He don't even know what the fuck going on." And you could tell he don't really understand the significance of this. He'll do anything to hold on to that power. And he got to be an evil individual. Like certain shit, even I don't like certain people, but certain things I don't think about that person, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things, like on The Last of Us, she was just like, there's certain codes and, she was like, we don't kill under our people. She was like, and that be you right now. But she was like, but I'm definitely going to kill you because it's just pretty much certain things that you don't do. She's like, people with morals, we don't do this. And pieces of shit like you'll do anything. And he ain't beg or plead. He actually told the bitch, he was like, because she was just talking the whole time. He was like, oh, shut the fuck up and get on with it. You know what I mean? And then she fucked that nigga up. And she was like, see, old man, she said, shit, you don't get to rush this. She beat that nigga to death. Verse 15, but he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth and from the hand of the mighty. And ultimately that go back to, even though that this looks, pretty much impossible to be subverted, or, for you to, pretty much escape this, we know that it's written, and we know our Heavenly Father is not a man that he can lie, or he shall lie, that, it's going to be a remnant. The Lord is, the elect is going to pretty much be protected from all of this, Isaiah chapter 5 and verse, 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Which, I got that because of Esau Edom. Because they don't think they're doing nothing wrong. In actuality, they think they got it. You know what I mean? You can't tell them shit, But in actuality, this is going to be their downfall because of their great pride. This is a book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 18. And it reads, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Verse 19, better it is to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Again, makes me keep on thinking about Isaiah chapter 13. I believe it says, all those that are joined unto him shall be thrust through. You're going to, all those that, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, it make me think about them two, freaking frack, because it's coming out that the spirit was heavy on the elder. He did that like Dick Tracy, the spirit was on him to just keep on exposing him, and then finally the one elder brother came out. He did some research, come to find out they hooked in and juiced in with some, and nothing you can hide from the Lord, and there's gonna be more people getting exposed. Watch. So ultimately, like I said, the Lord is gonna allow this as a test, nothing more, nothing less. These people might be in power right now, but we watching their power wane before our eyes. Esau don't got it. I threw up a video. You seeing Edomites? What? I saw more Edomites in that video than anybody. That the one that I did by the Epic Economist. Talking about healthcare. They think it's about 2,100. What? Hey, it's good to be getting something from the devil right now, huh? That's cold what they doing. But, I heard the shit go up. The co-pays and everything. Like, these motherfuckers so desperate. You got banks trying to come up with hidden fees. Like the bank I bank at, as long as you make a deposit, you don't pay no maintenance fee. But a lot of that shit about to go out the window because these motherfuckers broke, man. Like, that one motherfucker. And then I did that video. The broad up there like, well, yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to be a collapse this year. He might not know what the fuck she talking about, because once that seal, like the recession probably going, we in a recession already, but this shit about to go hyper this year when they do that silver shit. Trust and believe. Well, let me rephrase. Me speaking as a man, I believe. It's too much going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much going on. Perfect time for calamity. You know what I mean? A recipe for disaster. So, this is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, though you soar like the eagle and make your nest among the stars, referring to Esau Edom, because he's proud like the eagle. His symbol is the eagle, from ancient Greece. I think, what was they called? The Franks. I think theirs was as well. The Romans. And now Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, is symbol is the eagle. I think with DJ Trump, they made it a double-headed eagle, right? That's how extra proud this motherfucker is. The elder I remember was like, he looked like an eagle. Because the funny part was, when I looked at it, it did look like a little eagle, though. He like an eagle. That nigga funny. Not the elder. I'm talking about DJ Trump. I thought about, I thought about the video that the elder did, because he was like, does anybody have anything else to say? He had a whole smile on his face the whole time, not understanding nothing they talking about. So yeah, they go under the skin, huh? Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 4, though you soar like the eagle and make your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down, declares the Lord Yahweh Shem This speaks to Edom's pride and exalting themselves. And it said the Lord's going to be the one to bring them down. I like this one, Psalms 52 and verse 5. Surely the Most High will bring you down to everlasting ruin. He will snatch you up and pluck you from your tent. He will uproot you from the land of the living, directed at the deceitful and evil. Psalm 75 and 7. It is the Most High who judges. He brings one down, he exalts another. So ultimately, the Lord is going to be the one that's going to bring this devil down and basically put us up in his stead. You know, I was listening to the elder's video. He was going into, he asked, I think, chat, or he asked something. I think he said he did a search, or he asked chat, what part are we in the book of Daniel? And it said we at the toes. And the toes is the end of a thing, right? Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 17, I'm going to probably end it with this. The haughtiness of man shall be humbled, and the pride of men shall be brought low. And the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua alone, shall be exalted in that day. The Most High will humble human pride. Yeah, he going to humble 2/3 of the nation of Israel. He going to humble these heathens. And especially the main heathen he going to humble is Esau Edom. And that's going to be a beautiful sight to see. But it's going to come with a lot of violence first. Because this devil losing, and you can't tell him losing. You know, this motherfucker, you know, Satan is a motherfucker. Satan the type shit, he ain't going to walk away peacefully. He the type, start shooting up the club. You know, if I can't have it, no one can type shit. Just wait till these Edomites figure out that they own people, you know, did the you know, he did the backstab, you know, I'm talking about the complete cutthroat, and then did like a pirate and jumped the ship. You know what I mean? Better yet, stole the ship. Oh, them people gonna go ape shit crazy. And I think that's why they about to come with this great persecution, because when you see a lot of those futuristic movies, you know, just like in ancient times, you know, when you had you know, the wealthy and the serfs and the poor, you know what I mean? You know, pretty much you had like gladiator games or bloody games. You had it in the time of ancient Rome, you know, and now they're about to bring it back with this persecution. You know, you even had it in the movies like The Running Man. What's that shit? I never watched it. It's on the tip of my tongue too. I know Woody Harrelson in it. Damn, it's some games with the chick that could shoot the bow. But pretty much that was a game of brutality in order to appease the violent nature of the elites. You know, Squid Games, etc., etc. These verses generally refer to the Most High humbling the proud, judging the wicked, or warning those who defy him, demonstrating his ultimate authority over all people and nations. And that's spiritual too, because it said humbling the proud, which the proudest people on the planet is Esau Edom. Then probably 2/3 of Jake, judging the wicked, which is Esau Edom again, or 2/3 of Jake, or warning those who defy him, demonstrate his ultimate authority over all people and nations. And that, you know, warning goes to the 2/3. But the Most High understands that they're going to refuse to hearken and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. So that's a quagmire, you know. Yeah. So I was just thinking about that again. Yeah, this man got great power because again, I was thinking about it today at work. I was like, damn, this man literally did shut down the whole fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some power. You know what I'm saying? Jay can't even get his bitch to stay in the house. You know what I mean? Like, Jay can't even get it. You know what I mean? Like, Jake be catching hell at his house. This devil, the Lord gave him, but you know, we all, those that know this truth, we know that this is all spiritual anyway. You know what I mean? You know, you try to do the right thing, and literally you get. I mean, I'm a testimony to that. You know, like I'm trying to tell Jake steer him the right way. Jake looked at me like cornball. Then when the shit blow up in your. I wasn't even trying to go into that. I was just thinking about, because I was listening to the elder apostle video with, you know, the other elder and, you know, the elders, you know, I was like, damn, you know what I mean? And they was just, you know, that was a good video. That was a good lesson because, you know, they was just bringing out some history and, you know, they got kind of emotional because, Yeah, you know, like say like shit just yeah, certain shit make you mad, especially when you seeing false individuals, you know what I mean? Like you know, again, like only in Babylon the Great a wicked motherfucker would be put or elevated or exalted, you know what I mean? But that's I mean, you know, that's how the Lord wanted. You know, the Lord hasn't even received his glory yet. You know. But when he do, ah man, all these brothers, all the brothers that's call themselves trying to remain faithful and true and do the right thing. Because ultimately, like I said again, if you really in this thing, you really with Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So automatically you got a righteous reward coming. You just got to hold on and endure and walk that straight gate. But if you of the elect, you're going to be able to walk it. I heard a brother say that today. You know, and I think about that because again, Yahushua didn't say a word when he, you know, was being accused or whatnot. So I almost try to start, you know, because again, it pissed me off, but at the same time, I mean, you know, I just saw the brother video title. He said, damn, how was it worded? I can't think of it right now. Point being though, yeah, I mean, you know, the Lord's movie and you know, it's gotta be good, right? We almost at the end. You know, so if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. You will be destroyed with that. I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Loyim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem. Kodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwata to listen and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to this life foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah and Mawaf Lababah.